Hello guys, this is Oba FX Trading Academy and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. It's the beginning of another trading week and today we're going to be continuing with our top-down analysis series where we look at different financial securities. And today we're going to be looking at a Forex currency pair, the GBPNZD, which stands for the Great British Pound paired against the New Zealand dollar. So without wasting much time, let's get to it. As you all know, I do my top-down analysis using pure price action trading strategy. And currently on my chart, I'm on the monthly time frame. And as is customary, what we try to get from the monthly time frame is the direction of the market. And from what we can see, it's very easy to spot that the market is in an uptrend. Now, what do we mean by that? It means that the market has been making a series of higher highs and higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And from the latest green candle that we can see, it is clear that the market is not ready to change its direction yet. So the simple deduction from what we can see on the monthly chart is that GBPNZD is in an uptrend, and from where the market currently is at, it still has a lot of space to push upward. So the next thing we'll do, I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible, will be to go to the weekly time frame where we try to get the structure of the market to work with. Now, how do we do this? Most times, the easiest way for me is usually to go to the line chart, and on the line chart, the quickest chart pattern I can spot here is the double bottom. Some people will say, how now there's a double bottom here, right here. And of course, I've explained severally on how to trade the double bottom. That the simple way is when you have like a double bottom, wait for price to take out the neckline, then we wait for a retracement into the neckline, and then we look for our what? Our buy trades. Now, how do I mean? This would be our neckline in this case. So once price comes back into it, then we look forward our trade. So these are left bottom, right bottom, the neckline. And of course, we can see, like I always say, the market is usually doesn't always present the textbook diagram, but from what we can see here, we can compare these two diagrams. So where we have the neckline, price coming back into it and pushing upwards. So having that in mind, let's go back to the line and candlestick graph to see what we have. So like I always say, I like using simple tools for my analysis. That's a trend line, support and resistance zone, as well as the Fibonacci Retracement Tool. So this time I can add my trend line. Let me take this out because it serves the purpose already. I can add then I can include my Fib tool here just to map it out. Excuse me. Now, there's something I want us to pay close attention to. And then, of course, there's what I call the Fibonacci Retracement Golden Zone. That's the zone between the 50% mark and 61.8% mark. It's one of the most potent zones in the FIB tool that either supports or resists price consistently. So if I map this zone out, we can see that price clearly broke above the neckline of our double bottom on this weekly time frame, came back into the FIB tool, but there's something. Because the Fibonacci retracement zone was clearly above the neckline of the double bottom, we can see that price broke below the golden zone and just came to tap the neckline of the double bottom. And as a result, remember, each candle here takes 1 week to form. As a result, should have grabbed a lot of liquidity for those people that have pumped buy positions within this particular Fibonacci retracement golden zone. So market has already come to tap this double and the neckline of the double bottom, and as we can see, we have a green candle indicating the presence of buyers already within the zone. So all we need to do will be to go to the next lower time frame, which is the daily time frame, to see if we can get tradable, I call it the tradable time frame, because from here we can get the most recent trend of the market and don't get probable trading opportunities. So we can see our setup is all well and ready. So the question would now be, how do we take advantage of this setup? Now, there are possible scenarios that can play out here. We have the trend line and we have price already within our golden zone. The price already came down to grab liquidity by tapping on the neckline of the double bottom that we saw from the weekly time frame. Now, however, it is still possible for price to come down to tap the trend line and continue upwards. Now, this is one scenario. It is also very possible for price not to come back immediately, but to push upwards. We probably come back in the future to tap on the trend line. So the best way to now know if this trade is ready to continue upwards or if it might come down anytime is to go to the entry time frames is from the 4 hour down to maybe probably the minute time frame, depending on how far you want to refine before getting into your trade. Now, if we are to look at this closely, we can see that at a very, very strong key zone, which is a combination of the FIB2 and the neckline of the double bottom we spotted from the weekly time frame, we can see that there's a strong bullish reversal chart pattern. So for those of us that have been trading for a while, you can easily spot this, that we have an inverse head and shoulder pattern here, which is a strong bullish reversal chart pattern. And the simple way to trade this is to wait for price to break the neckline, come back to make a retest of this neckline, then we can start looking for our buy trades. However, one of the strong ways in which I also take my entries is by the counter trend line method. How do I mean? It means to wait for a counter trend line to be taken out and retested. Now, in this case, this is our counter trend line going in the opposite direction of our original bullish trend line. So the safest way that I'd advise to enter this market would be to wait for this trend line to be broken, retested, then I can pump my buy trades with my stop loss beneath this left shoulder. However, the aggressive method in which some people would likely go into this market would be to wait for a retracement. Since we already have our inverse, let me zoom this in. We already have our inverse head and shoulder at a very, very strong key zone. So once there's a retracement into this neckline, you can enter the trade. But however, if you're using this method, I would advise that you watch closely to see how price reacts to this counter trend line, and then probably enter with a little lot, with smaller lot sizes. And then maybe when this neckline is completely broken and we have a retest, then you can now add more positions. So for those that trade in the much lower time frames, you can even take advantage of this head and shoulder pattern. This is a very, very inverse head and shoulder pattern. This is a very, very viable trade, because if we go to the 1 hour time frame, you can see that price is already coming downward. So all you need to do would be to even include like a mini trend line here. Wait for price to come into this place. At the third touch of the trend line, you can take your trades. But like I advised, you have to watch closely to see how price reacts to this counter trend line. So this is my outlook for GBPNZD. So if you're into forex trading, maybe you trade forex apart from those that trade synthetic indices, this, like I said, is a viable trade. You can check this out. You can compare this with your analysis and see if it tallies. So I'll be watching this closely. I'll be entering both aggressively and then maybe probably in a more cautious way if if price gets to break this counter trend line. So this is my outlook, like I said, on this particular currency pair. And if you've gained anything by way of watching this video, it is only fair that you click on the like button, share with others to also gain from the video as well. You can subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you'll be the first to get subsequent videos. Like I said, this is what we do basically on this channel. We take commodities, cryptocurrency, derivative synthetic indices, currency pair. We do a top-down analysis and help those who get to come across it to make money by following what we've put out here. Thanks once again for stopping by my channel and have a fruitful trading week. Cheers.